Hey, today I would like to share with you about Ugg boots and uh, sheepskin footwear and my favorites and compares and how to repair them and how to wash them. I've owned this pair of Ugg boots for over 30 years. I got them when I was an exchange student in New Zealand. They were before they had the Ugg brand on the back that you recognize now. They were really popular when I lived there. You can see it's kind of molded to my foot. This was this orangey color back in the day. I bought this in 84, 83, 84, my junior year of high school. So these have lasted for over 30 years and I still wear them today. As you can see, I've repaired them. This one I caught last year on something and I tried to repair it there, but that's so much pull. I wear these to work in the garage and outside when it's cold. So they have gotten tears and repairs quite a few times. They are getting to the point where, you know, I still wear them out, but they're just so abused because I wear them to work. So anyway, how I have washed these and cared for them. People argue with me. The traditionalists don't think you should do it this way, but this is how I do it. So I got these ones about, oh gosh, 17 years ago maybe. My sister worked at Nordstrom's and got them for me for Christmas. Ugg has gone through so many different varieties and types and soles and things over the years as they've mass produced that it just depending on the year and the style, they have better qualities than not. This one has a horrible sole. It's very slick, but they are nice and high and they keep you warm in the snow, higher snow, colder climates. These were lower ones. They were more popular back in the time before they started mass producing them. You can see the top isn't sewn down as the newer ones are. Well, this isn't newer. This is still 20 years old. Last year, I purchased a pair for my daughter that zip and have the compressed wool with the waterproofing on the outside. And she's in Japan, in the coldest northern area of Japan. And she wears them almost every day. She loves them. So they were well worth the money. Uggs are expensive, but they are well worth it when you compare them to the other brands. I personally believe. And so you just have to decide what you want. And I wanted to show you these slippers. I got my 16th birthday, the week I got to New Zealand. And my kids have all worn these to school for, pajama day. And I've worn them for years and years and years. And they are finally getting to the point where I'm going to have to get rid of them. I've repaired them so many times. You can see on the seam that's all sewn up. And they're open. So I actually just bought yesterday a new pair of wool slippers that I can wear. These ones, I'm surprised the bottom hasn't worn through. It's wool. It's the leather side, and it still hasn't worn through. But these have been worn for 35 years. So that's pretty impressive. But I'm getting rid of them just because they're just so beat up. I don't want to have to repair them anymore. But how I have washed these over the years, and I have done this with probably 30 pairs of Ugg boots or Ugg type boots with my kids. So what I do is I spray some very mild solvent cleaner like a Woolite or something like that in the bottoms. Now, a lot of times now they have the pull-out soles. I just bought a pair of slippers yesterday. I didn't bring them out. But anyway, the sole comes out so you can wash it, which I think is brilliant. I wish they had done it on all of these. But I get some of this cleaner on my hand and I take it down the bottom and I scrub it like this on the bottom with my fingers and get that soap in there really good and wash it really, really well in just kind of a body temperature water and scrub it all up and lift that wool on the bottom to raise the loft of that wool on the bottom. And then I just throw them in the washing machine on a gentle cycle and let the washing machine go. Now on this pair, it had a stain on the front of it, and you can put some kind of the solvent kind of a cleaner, not a solvent cleaner, just a light detergent cleaner on, and use your finger to scrape off any stains that get on, but it will take out some of the dye. So if you're going to do that, just be aware you're going to have to kind of texture up the whole thing to get the dye off all of the whole thing. And then do the same thing on the inside with the loft, getting the wool loft in the bottom, and then throwing them in the washing machine. This pair actually had a burn hole in them, so I just folded it over and nobody would know. Oftentimes you can get these at a secondhand store where somebody didn't appreciate them or not. Sometimes I've gotten them actually new. This is not an UGG brand. It's a very similar type, but look at the wear on this sole versus this sole that's 35 years old. These are a couple years old. This one's 35 years old. So that's pretty impressive that this one still has that kind of, and you can tell I've worn these forever. So I think my Uggs have lasted very well. Now you can purchase these knockoffs, different brands. This is an Australian knockoff, for a lot cheaper, but I don't think they look as good. I don't know. They just, to me, they just don't wash up as well, and they don't dry as well. I think they don't soften their sheepskin up enough or something. They just seem to be a little bit more stiff, and they don't wash and dry as well. You can see they're kind of mottled, but that's what happens when you wash them sometimes. The softer ones actually don't do that as much. So once I've put them in the wash on a warm, cold cycle, you never throw them in the dryer. I will then, once they've gone through, I will take a water bottle or another type of bottle, and I will stick them like this, and I will put them over the vents for my furnace, so that the warm air will blow up underneath and dry them out. And once they've gotten pretty dry that way, then I take the bottle out and I'll lay them on the vent this way so the air will come up this way. And then you can stick them just like that on the sides of the vent, and they dry pretty well. You can see they still have, this still has great loft in it after 35 years. It's wonderful. And it will stay that way if you wash them regularly. Like this one, I don't wash as often because it's a bigger, taller boot, and it's harder to dry. So I try not to wear these as often. Like just around the house or whatever. I'll wear these out when it's snowing and I need to shovel the walks and there's a high snow or whatever. But you can see that this difference when it gets washed and dried more frequently. I'm not sure why that is, but it just is. So anyway, light detergent, Woolite, other things, scrape the bottom, get the loft up if you can. Gentle cycle on the washing machine, flip them upside. So on the taller ones, I use a bottle like this, but you got to be careful because anything with metal on it will rust. So a bottle like this without this top on it, just a taller wine bottle would be great. You just stick that boot on top of there like that over the vent or in front of the furnace, whatever. And if you don't have a blowing air vent, you can put him in front of the coal, what is it called, the cast iron, whatever, baseboard furnace, whatever type of furnace you have, you just stick them like that in front of it and let the air get to it up that way, and then take it off once it is. And you can actually stick the bottle in that way if you need to, also to keep them in a good form without falling down. So I have done that before. You can see that will keep that standing up pretty well, but if you take it out, it falls down. So anyway, if you have any questions, feel free to ask. I personally really love my Uggs, but just for around the house, like a slipper, I'll just get these cheaper brands sometimes. Be careful buying brands that are cheaper, like a Bear Claw, Bear Paw, whatever that brand is. My daughter bought a pair of those. She's got really thick calves, and the Uggs we were finding were too tight. So we bought a pair of those, and she wore them out in the snow, and they actually dyed her foot black. I'm sure that dye is not good for you. That's just a cheaper brand, and I decided we wouldn't be doing that again. So I actually did find some Uggs that would fit her, and we bought those. So sometimes you have to look. I live in a small town, and so it's harder for us to get them and try them on. We have to make a special event to go and try them on. But you do want to do that when you're buying Uggs. They don't often have zippers. Like I said, we did buy some zipper ones for my daughter in Japan because they have to take their boots off at every home they enter. So hers were the zipper kind, but most of the Uggs are not. And so if you have a thick calf, you have to try them on before purchasing them. I wouldn't recommend buying them online if you have larger calves. Go to the store, and even those zip-on kind didn't fit one of my daughters, but they fit the other one great. She's got skinny heels. The other one has such skinny ankles and skinny legs that they were so big on her that they just weren't comfortable for her. So they are kind of particular. I would not suggest just buying them online. I would suggest going to a high-end store and actually trying on a lot of their varieties, and that way you don't have to pay return shipping. Anyway, just my thoughts on Uggs. I wish Birkenstock, I wear Birkenstocks all summer and Uggs in the winter, but I wish Ugg and Birkenstock would make a combination sole, the cork sole underneath the wool removable sole in Ugg boots so that you could have some support. You can see on the bottoms of mine where I've got flat feet and they roll and they wear funny. So I wish they would do that on the inside so you've got the arch support on there. I keep suggesting it. Hopefully one of these days Birkenstock and Ugg will make a union together and be able to do that. So anyway, check out my blog, The Secret is Gratitude. I've got several posts on this, and you can read those descriptions if you need any more definition. There's pictures. And just subscribe to my channel. I've got over 500 videos and different things I've learned over the years. Thanks for watching, and have a blessed day.